Renáta to tell us her story. Her ancestors started arriving in the United States in the early 1920s. So, Renáta, please.
Thank you. First of all, I would like to welcome my colleagues, my friends, my clients, and my family among the guests. And I would like to especially welcome my friend who came from Hungary with her daughter. So thank you for Alexia also, who is sitting next to me, a client of at the consulate, for telling me about this book and introducing me to the editors. And thank you for Anna and Reka for the honor of inviting me. So, our family story began in Szentpéterfa. Szentpéterfa is a village in Vas County, Croatian majority village. It's located near the Austrian border. So I brought some pictures in Szentpéterfa. So the cross is located in the village next to the small church, and it's erected by the families of Szentpéterfa living in America in the last beginning of century. So there were two large waves when the people emigrated from Szentpéterfa. One, the beginning of the last century, and the second was in 1956. So the globe on the next photo was erected by the New York-based St. Peter and Paul Cultural Association. The globe commemorates the scattered yet united St. Peter's people around the world. The following instruction can be read: "Beautiful border of my homeland, will I ever see you again?" So it was erected in 2016. And this house, what you can see, was built in 1930. On the facade is the year of my great-grandfather's monogram, S.A. Antal Skrapits. The house is still there in Szentpéterfa, nicely renovated. We preserved for the future. So we collected all the 100 years old relics. So there are many old-style, nicely renovated houses in Szentpéterfa. And it's interesting, my mother was also born in this house. So the first emigration, because I promised I will tell 5 generations in 100 years. So the first emigration, my great-grandparents. In 1920, my great-grandfather Antal Skrapits emigrated to America at the age of 21. Like most people from Szentpéterfa, he went to Pennsylvania and found work at the Bethlehem Steelworks. He decided to emigrate in search of a better life, but the intention of returning to Hungary later. My great-grandmother, Johanna Skrapits, in the same age, but after 2 years from the same village, from Szentpéterfa, emigrated to the same town, to Northampton. So maybe they knew each other, but after 2 years they got married in Northampton, and they had 3 daughters, you can see in the middle of the pictures. And that was the plan. They will go back to Szentpéterfa, but first of all, my great-grandmother in late 1927 boarded a ship with her 5-month-old twins and a 1.5-year-old daughter and arrived in Szentpéterfa in that hope that her husband would follow them. However, due to the global economic crisis of 1929, the head of the family lost his job and moved to New York, where he tried to earn money to support his family. By the time he had managed to get back on his feet financially, World War II broke out, so my great-grandfather remained in America and the family was torn apart. In 1947, after the World War II, my grandmother's sister, 20-year-old Mariska and 20-year-old Jolanka, you can see the picture on the right side, returned to America to join their father. You can see them. My great-grandmother and my grandmother remained in Szentpéterfa, as my great-grandmother was not a US citizen and therefore couldn't return to America. The story of my grandparents began in 1952. József Szénási is my grandfather from Kistelek, was sent to Szentpéterfa to do his military service. My grandparents met in Szentpéterfa and married in 1952, and they had 2 daughters. My mother, Magdolna Szénási, was born in the house in Szentpéterfa in 1955 with the help of a midwife. A year and a half later, my grandfather had a strange dream which he wrote down and recounted to the family several times. He was traveling with his family in his dream in a horse-drawn carriage when suddenly the ground split open in front of them. Half of the family remained on one side of the split and the other half on the other, never to see each other again. This dream later became reality. After the fall of the 1956 revolution, another wave of emigration began in Hungary. My grandparents, their 2 little girls, and my great-grandmother fled in November 1956, traveling via Austria to America. My great-grandmother was reunited with her husband after 30 years. So by this time, their oldest daughter, my grandmother's sister, Mariska, had married and had 3 children. They lived in Manhattan in the 77th Street, in apartments next to each other. My great-grandfather worked as a janitor. They must have had a dream life. The cousins grew up together, saw each other every day, played together, and my mother's younger sister was born in 1958. After 7 years, my grandfather decided to go back to Hungary, despite everyone trying to talk him out of it. The reasons were homesick and murder of President Kennedy. They boarded a ship, you can see the picture, the SS United States in 1963. After 2 days of train travel from Bremerhaven, Germany, the family arrived at Nyugati railway station in Budapest, and from there they took another train to Kistelek. They arrived to my grandfather's parents' house with no running water, so they had to carry heavy buckets of water from the corner of the street for cooking, washing, and cleaning. The girls were suffering. My grandmother was suffering, but they couldn't go back to America. In 1974, my mother's sister crossed the border with her boyfriend at Szentpéterfa, which was illegal at that time. She decided to return to America as soon as when she was brought back to Kistelek against her will at the age of 11. She didn't tell her parents about her plan. After 6 years, in 1980, she married with a Hungarian man who was serving in the Air Force in Las Vegas. After the training camp, Ferenc was stationed in Utah, from where he requested a transfer to Japan. Their son Ferenc was born there in 1982 at the military base in Okinawa. However, fate repeated itself. I realized many repeats in this book when I just wrote the story. So Katalin, with her 5-month-old son, returned to Hungary due to the family problems, arriving in Kistelek, where her sisters also lived with their families. At that time, I, her niece, was only 3 years old. You can find me on the right side on the picture. So after 21 years, Katalin returned to America again for the 3rd time in 2003 for a job opportunity, and her children followed her. From November 2004 to April 2020, she lived in New York City, and my cousins currently live in Los Angeles and Miami. My aunt finally returned to Kistelek, and she is now enjoying her retirement. So this is my story. How did I get to the US? In 2022, my husband and I worked at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade in Budapest. We were offered jobs at the Embassy of Washington D.C, where now my husband is the economic director and I am the consul. We have been living 3 years with our kids, and the fourth child, Mishike, was born here in 2023. He is the great-grandson of Mester Mihály, whose life story is told elsewhere in this book. So, in my own family, my mother often visits us in Washington D.C. You can see a picture with her. We just visited the graves of my great-grandparents in Pennsylvania. So my roots are here. In my own family, since my great-grandparents left Szentpéterfa for the Promised Land, every generation has had children born in America. The dilemma has been passed down, and we have not yet decided whether our family would have a better life in America or in Hungary.